In our personal and professional lives, we are constantly hit with one adversity after the other, most of which we have no control over. But the four things we have total control over is how we react, how we adapt, how we breathe, and how we take action. Without hard work and discipline, it is difficult to be a top professional. A financial crisis is a great time for professional investors and a horrible time for average ones. There's no difference between fame and infamy now. There's a new school of professional famous people that don't do anything. They don't create anything. I have my flaws too, but I am a professional who doesn't like to miss or lose. I have the cliche, struggling actor, story. I was waiting tables in New York, went out to LA soon after graduation to get some jobs, but it didn't work out. I wanted to cut my teeth in professional theater, so I came back to New York. It made my journey a longer one, but I really wanted to excel in the theater. Jobs offshoring began with manufacturing, but the rise of the high-speed internet made it possible to move offshore tradable professional skills, such as software engineering, information technology, various forms of engineering, architecture, accounting, and even the medical reading of MRIs and CT scans. My first professional acting role was a small part in a television series called The Wizard. I later had the opportunity to work on Michael Jackson's Moonwalker music video. If I'd written all the truth I knew for the past 10 years, about 600 people, including me, would be rotting in prison cells from Rio to Seattle today. Absolute truth is a very rare and dangerous commodity in the context of professional journalism. It's really a testament to my parents, because I was active, curious and creative as a child, and my parents nurtured that. But I wouldn't say that I was a professional child actor at all. I was never the breadwinner of my family. I used to tell the players that professional football is a part-time profession. I used to tell them it gets you ready for your life's work. I think it's better not to mix professional life and personal life, although it is hard. There is no employing class, no working class, no farming class. You may pigeonhole a man or woman as a farmer or a worker or a professional man or an employer or even a banker. But the son of the farmer will be a doctor or a worker or even a banker, and his daughter a teacher. The son of a worker will be an employer, or maybe president. More than half of people who leave their jobs do so because of their relationship with their boss. Smart companies make certain their managers know how to balance being professional with being human. These are the bosses who celebrate an employee's success, empathize with those going through hard times, and challenge people, even when it hurts. I had pro offers from the Detroit Lions and Green Bay Packers, who were pretty hard up for linemen in those days. If I had gone into professional football, the name Jerry Ford might have been a household word today. I went to Dartmouth College, graduated, and had the opportunity to play 2 professional sports. I played for the New England Patriots in the NFL and professional lacrosse for the Boston Blazers. I had an injury, so I had to stop so I could heal. But when I was playing football, I wasn't making a lot of money. I wasn't a superstar. My dad was a professional basketball player, and my mom was a hell of a tennis player. What I care about is making money. What I care about is making waves. What I care about is going down as one of, if not, the greatest professional wrestlers to have ever lived. I think as far as any kind of pressure on a football team or on an individual in professional sports really depends not only on that individual but the leadership they have on the team and the leadership they have on the coaching staff. A lot of times, they can divert some of those pressures off of the individual and off of the team. I used to make up stuff in my bio all the time, that I used to be a professional ice skater and stuff like that. I found it so inspirational. Why not make myself cooler than I am? The difference between an amateur and a professional is in their habits. An amateur has amateur habits. A professional has professional habits. We can never free ourselves from habit, but we can replace bad habits with good ones. If you're a happy person around food, you can be a professional chef. It's fueled by passion. As a professional athlete, a lot is going to be said about you, but I just try to move forward and try to achieve my goals. You can have anything you want, but not everything. If it was really important to spend an afternoon at my daughter's school, I had to think, how was I going to organize my life to do that? How could I become more efficient? I always tried to put my priorities on the table, personal and professional, and work around them. I recently went to a new doctor and noticed he was located in something called the professional building. I felt better right away. Discipline is part of my professional training as a lawyer. We educated, Privileged lawyers have a professional and moral duty to represent the underrepresented in our society, to ensure that justice exists for all, both legal and economic justice. Fairness is not an attitude, it's a professional skill that must be developed and exercised. A professional is someone who can do his best work when he doesn't feel like it. In my early professional years I was asking the question, how can I treat, or cure, or change this person? Now I would phrase the question in this way, how can I provide a relationship which this person may use for his own personal growth? I'm a teller of stories. I put bloody skins on my back and dance around the fire, and I say what the hunt was like. It's not erudite, it's not intellectual. I sail, run dogs, ride horses, play professional poker, and tell stories about the stuff I've been through. And I'm still a romantic, I still want Bambi to make it out of the fire. I hate the whole race. There is no believing a word they say, you're professional poets. I mean, there never existed a more worthless set than Byron and his friends, for example. You have to perform at a consistently higher level than others. That's the mark of a true professional. Your personal life, your professional life, and your creative life are all intertwined. I went through a few very difficult years where I felt like a failure, but it was actually really important for me to go through that. Struggle, for me, is the most inspirational thing in the world at the end of the day, as long as you treat it that way. Cognitive therapy is based on the idea that when you change the way you think, you can change the way you feel and behave. In other words, if we can learn to think about other people in a more positive and realistic way, it will be far easier to resolve conflicts and develop rewarding personal and professional relationships. One of the things that I did before I ran for president is I was a professional speaker. Not a motivational speaker, an inspirational speaker. Motivation comes from within. You have to be inspired. That's what I do. I inspire people, I inspire the public, I inspire my staff. I inspired the organizations I took over to want to succeed. There's no medals for trying. This isn't like 8th grade where everybody gets a trophy. We are in a professional sport, and it is competitive to win. That's what we do. My mother was a professional sick person. She took a lot of pain pills. There are many people like that. It's just how they are used to getting attention. I always remember she's the daughter of alcoholics who'd leave her alone at Christmas time. Filmmaking, like any other art, is a very profound means of human communication. Beyond the professional pleasure of succeeding or the pain of failing, you do want your film to be seen, to communicate itself to other people. It was incredible being on tour with Taylor Swift. She was the epitome of a professional, and she works so hard. For someone as successful as her to work that hard every night, truly inspirational. Money is not a motivating factor. Money doesn't thrill me or make me play better because there are benefits to being wealthy. I'm just happy with a ball at my feet. My motivation comes from playing the game I love. If I wasn't paid to be a professional footballer, I would willingly play for nothing. From exam grading to health education to professional training to democratic participation, paths toward self-realization and success in the world are often daunting and obscure. Journeys only the privileged feel confident setting off along. Sometimes, there's a fine line between bravery and utter stupidity. The day I decided to climb into a boxing ring for a professional fight was probably on the side of stupidity. At 20, I realized that I could not possibly adjust to a feminine role as conceived by my father and asked him permission to engage in a professional career. In 8 months I filled my gaps in Latin, Greek and mathematics, graduated from high school, and entered medical school in Turin. I enjoy the work, I enjoy every minute of my professional life. A professional soldier understands that war means killing people, war means maiming people, war means families left without fathers and mothers. I've been a medical and public health professional as well as a mother. I became skilled at juggling a number of priorities and competing interests. Like many other female leaders, I've tried to serve as a role model for the young women at my organization who are trying to balance a high-level leadership position and a family. To become a professional, you have to train a lot, which I did from a very early age. Of course, it helps if your character is very competitive and you have patience and perseverance. In carrying out every aspect of our work, CIA officers are guided by a professional ethos that is the sum of our abiding principles, core values, and highest aspirations. These include service, integrity, excellence, courage, teamwork, and stewardship. Sacrifice, too, is an inescapable part of our mission. My dad said if you become a tennis professional, just make sure you get into the top 100, because you have to make a little bit of money. You make a living so you can pay your coaching and, your travels. Visit our website for more quotes, quoting.com.